So what about plantar fasciitis? My name's Hannah Studley from the Mind Body Institute, and I'm making a series of videos about different chronic health issues and mind-body situations where you might be wondering if the ideas that help me get pain-free could help you. So I had chronic pain for 25 years. I had IBS, back pain, neck pain. And I remember the first time I had a client reach out to me and she said, have you worked with anybody with plantar fasciitis? And to be honest with you, I didn't know what that was. I'm not a doctor. I'm not medically trained. So I had to Google it. And I learned that it's a fancy word for saying foot pain. And I don't, when I say that, I don't wish to dismiss anybody's suffering because I know it's incredibly painful. So I started working with this woman and she was actually a school teacher. And so as you know, I was a school teacher for 5 years and you spend a lot of time on your feet. You're at the front of the classroom, you're teaching, you might not be walking around, but you're on your feet pretty much most of the day. And so she was in incredible pain in her feet. And she obviously went to the doctor. And I remember she told me that the doctor told her that she'd overused her feet. I'm like, what? What do you mean we overused your feet? I mean, people have been, on their feet their whole lives for thousands of years. I mean, we have cars and buses and bicycles now. So, and we have amazing shoes, right? People for thousands of years didn't even have real, like what we call shoes, maybe some sandals. They were walking on the dirt on their bare feet. How do you overuse your feet? Doctors say the most interesting things sometimes. And if you've been to a lot of doctors, you've probably heard some similar similar stories. So she was very sad because she didn't want to be teaching anymore. She also, the other thing she couldn't do was ride her bicycle, if I remember. She loved riding her bike with her husband, and it was just too painful for her to ride the bike. So I started to share with her what had helped me, what had helped my back pain and my IBS and my allergies go away. And really what I started to see was that all of those physical issues, say for her it was the plantar fasciitis, for me it was the back pain and the IBS, they were actually signals coming from the body. My body was screaming at me, trying to get me to slow down. So this was true for her too. She started to see this, that it wasn't that she was on her feet all day. Now, yes, we all need to take a rest sometimes, but her feet were screaming at her because she was so up in her head with different kinds of worries, different kinds of anxiety. We all have insecure thoughts. Maybe we're not good enough at our job. Maybe it's, we're getting older. Maybe it's financial stuff. We can get up in our heads about all kinds of things. And then we start getting up in our heads about the pain and the physical issues because we've missed the point. What I see now and what I share with my clients is the point is that there's actually nothing wrong with your body. Like you could x-ray my back and there was actually nothing wrong. But the agonizing pain was a signal, a signpost, if you like, letting me know that I'd gone off track with my thinking, that I was too much up in my head. I wasn't present enough in my life. And as I learned how to be present in my life, the pain went away because it wasn't needed anymore. And the same thing happened for this woman. I'll just tell you one quick last story about another client with plantar fasciitis. She was in such pain, she could barely get from her bed to her sofa. That was her life, right? And her husband, I remember, was retiling the bathroom and refurbishing the bathroom and making it beautiful for them. And he'd ordered some, I think, new faucets, some new taps. And you know how when people deliver things, they'll say, well, come between 9 and 9 a.m. and 12 noon. And of course, they always come at 5 in the afternoon, right? So these guys had come to deliver these new taps for her. And her husband was out and she was the only one home on the sofa. And she had a walker. I think she was only in her like early 40s and she had a walker like a really old lady. So the guy's ringing in the doorbell and she thinks, oh my gosh, if I don't take the package, then who knows when we'll be able to get it. So she said before she knew it, she was at the door signing for the package and she said, Hannah, I forgot to be in pain, right? So she too had started to understand, had amazing insights that she wasn't her pain, she wasn't her body, and that she had innate well-being underneath all that suffering and all that misunderstanding. So if these stories are anything like your symptoms and your situation, and you've tried everything else, you've tried all the treatments and the self-help stuff and the functional medicine and the writing and the yoga and the on and on and on. If you're tired and exhausted from that, let me know because I actually teach my clients and I myself, I stopped all that busy work. I don't do all that stuff anymore. And my body got calmed down. My body healed because as my mind felt safe, my body felt safe. I got a quieter mind and a quieter body. And I'd love to share that with you. So please reach out and I'd love to answer your questions. Take care and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.